This is Star Wars in Character, the podcast that takes a closer look at some of the characters in the Star Wars universe you probably never noticed. Backstories, histories, and details you never knew, wanted to know, or ever need to know. Now here are this week's panelists of Star Wars in Character.
Today we are talking about Lobot. Lobot's only appearance in the Star Wars saga was 1980's Episode 5, The Empire Strikes Back. Now to our panelist Tim about 3 facts about Lobot.
All right. Well, the first fact that I have is at no point in Empire Strikes Back is Lobot ever actually named Lobot. Even in the credits, he's only named Lando's aide.
You mean in the credits of the actual movie, it says Lobot's aide. It doesn't say Lobot or Lando's aide.
No, it says Lando's aide. It does not say Lobot. I don't believe the name Lobot came around until Kenner decided to name him Lobot. I guess because they thought that he had been lobotomized with that thing around his head, and he never says anything in the movie. So I guess they think he's kind of just a computer.
But he's human, right?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah. He actually has an expanded universe backstory. It's kind of stupid. All right. Lobot. He was the son of a slave trader, and then he became a slave when his father, the slave trader, was killed by some pirates somewhere along the line. At some point, he found himself in Bespin and was caught stealing and sentenced to 15 years of involuntary service, in which he was connected with the little headband around him, and he sort of made a cybernetic
slave. So
kind of,
like
yeah. Well, he was sort of like a cybernetic extension of the computer there at in Bespin, and after his sentence was up for stealing, he decided to stay on as the chief administrative aide. Eventually to Lando.
I'm perplexed why they never use this compelling story in the actual movie.
Yeah,
that's episode 1.5, or was it 4.
Well, I know that this is our pilot episode, and I'm going to say this now and probably every episode after. If George Lucas didn't write it, to me, it's not Star Wars.
Tim, Clone Wars.
See, George. We'll talk about Clone Wars at another time.
All right.
No, it astounds me that you're perfectly accepting of things George Lucas actually wrote, but that's another conversation too.
That's another podcast.
But this is all stuff from books, right, Tim? I mean, this has nothing to do with anything. It's way after the fact.
Yeah, it's not like George was sitting around throwing out stories to people. This was, I'm assuming that these all came from. There was a book that came out maybe 10, 12 years ago, like stories from Tales from Bespin's Cloud City, and I'm assuming that this is where this backstory for Lobot came from.
Okay, that was along the lines with the Tales from Jabba's Palace and the Tales from Mos Eisley.
Yeah,
those
the
books.
Cantina. Yeah, exactly.
Those were actually half decent, but I started reading his stuff, and I was like, I don't remember any of this. None of this stuff happened to me. It wasn't until the very end of what I was reading that it was like, oh yeah, and then he was in this movie called The Empire Strikes Back.
So you're okay with the entire lifespan of every character in the Star Wars galaxy only equates to 12 hours? Is that what you're saying? I mean, you can't accept that there needs to be backstories that these characters have lived lives before what you saw on screen?
For somebody like this, it's so insignificant.
Okay.
For him to have such a detailed backstory,
everybody,
to me, is ridiculous. Some of the characters, you want to get into the stuff with Boba Fett and all that stuff, but for this guy, he's a lamppost.
All he has on fucking turn signals on his head. Well, I swear, there's a scene where he's walking and the left one blinks, he turns fucking left.
He's got to let the people behind him know where he's going.
Look left, right, and then left again.
That would be insanely useful, actually, especially like in Disney World or something.
I think the need to give a backstory to him. I guess Lobot's kind of a cult character. He's always been, he's always sort of been there. Everybody, when you say Lobot, if anybody
ever,
knows
the cult of Lobot.
Yeah, the cult of Lobot. If you say the name Lobot, anybody who has just any sort of peripheral knowledge of Star Wars knows exactly who you're talking about. You don't, you know, and even people who have only seen the movies once or twice, if you say that bald guy with the weird thing on his head, people know who you're talking about.
We're not talking about the black guy in the orange jumpsuit carrying the ice cream maker?
They made a figure for that guy.
Oh shit! I am totally unprepared for this now. I thought we were talking about someone else.
That guy's name was Wilro Hood. I know that.
Thanks for joining us, Tim.
Wilro Hood. Yeah.
What else you got in your facts?
All right. Lobot was played by esteemed British stage and television actor John Hollis.
Rest in peace.
And Chris and I know,
straight out of Compton.
at the first ever convention we went to, John Hollis was one of the first Star Wars actors we met.
Yes, and I think Tim was he the first Star Wars actor on our poster who died, and we were like,
"Wow, he signed it." Did you did he sign it mid signature and you had to grab his hand and finish it off for him?
John Hall.
John Hall. All right, let me just put the I and S on there for you. And
I don't think he's the first one to die. He died in 2005. I think Bill Hootkins, the guy who plays Porkins in
but what I was
A New Hope. I think he passed away prior to Hollis.
My whole point of asking that was, I think this is sad. I think we were happy that somebody on our poster has passed away, so our poster increased in value.
Oh my God, that's awesome.
That sounds about right. Just so people know, how many signatures do you have on your poster, approximately?
Go ahead, Tim. On the original trilogy,
poster, I think across the four major Star Wars posters that I've been getting, I think 160 some odd signatures just on my trilogy poster. I think that's up to about 60.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, you have 161 because I put one on while you were here.
I
signed it. Chubby Ballskin.
Hold on.
I want that action figure.
Chubby Ballskin.
Yeah, I do. I want to keep it in package.
That's
all right.
Yeah.
Okay. This I just discovered this. Okay. John Hollis died on the 18th of October, 2005.
He didn't get dressed up for Halloween that year.
Bill Hootkins, who played Porkins, died on the 23rd
of October.
October, same year. They died just a few days apart.
Oh, that's
yes,
kind of creepy.
Your face, want to know why? Porkins had a heart attack and fell on John Hollis.
But yeah, Lobot. I'm going to quote Jimmy Mack here. Lobot became a no-bot prior to
Jimmy Mack. John McEnroe?
Oh, don't yeah. No, Jimmy. My all-time favorite Star Wars podcast, the Force Cast. Jimmy Mack.
I'm just going to edit that out, so don't worry.
It is a little. No, but I love that podcast. But Jimmy Mack is a host on there. He coined the phrase "Lobot is a no bot."
Okay, yeah, I'll be cutting out my question and your follow-up response. I'll just let it go at what you said.
I was with you guys when you met John Hollis, and he was a very nice man. Now, he was very old even then.
He was.
In fact, I remember because I got him to sign a picture too. The signature is all shaky.
Yeah.
I mean, he was pretty elderly then, and some of these guys are nice. Some of them are incredibly obnoxious, but he was just like a sweet old guy.
Yes, he
was. Sweet little old man. Yeah, he's one of the few people that I actually have his autograph hanging on my wall because I got his autograph before I actually started getting my poster signed. Chris started getting his poster signed at that particular convention. So all I had was the photo, and then the next day we went the second day, and I searched all over that convention to find an original Lobot figure because the Power of the Force 2 hadn't come out yet, and I don't have that figure anymore.
Well, he was in Superman too.
Yes, he was. He was in Superman 4 and 2 and 1, I think.
He's
really?
in 4?
He played two different characters. He played a general
in part 4, right?
He was a Krypton elder in 1 and 2.
Wait, was he one of the big faces?
He was like trees.
Yeah, we go to the Fortress of Solitude and put in the crystal, and he heard Trays by Robert Frost.
Okay, that guy. Yeah. Oh, I didn't know that was him. Oh, and then he got cut out in the Richard Donner cut. Then
I think it does say the fourth elder. I think he was one of those old people in the beginning. Guilty.
Yeah, that's what I was. Yeah, from the
Superman 1. Yeah, fourth elder in Superman 1. Superman 2, he's listed as Krypton elder.
Yeah.
And then he is in Superman 4 as a general. I don't know.
Superman 4, a movie far superior to all the prequels.
He's Russian General number 3.
Tim just blocked that one out.
That was awesome.
All that needed was a drunken Jedi. It would have been fantastic.
Well, he was in a Bond movie too. You guys should have got him on your Bond poster.
Yeah.
He was in For Your Eyes Only. He was Blofeld.
Yep.
So next time, well, you can't get his autograph anymore on your
Does
Bond.
he always play 2-syllable characters? Lobot, Blofeld, Elder.
And he's in Teabag and the Pearls of Wisdom.
Teabag.
Mm-hmm.
Oh. And pearls.
Insert joke right here.
Well, someone has to because you didn't.
He was in Casino Royale. He was on a couple episodes of The Saint, The Avengers, Doctor Who.
I swear to God, I thought you were going to say Simpsons there for a second. I thought that would be awesome.
Eat my shorts.
Well, he was a nice man.
Very nice man.
I wonder if his coffin has blinking lights around the side of it.
Does it turn left when he rolls over in his grave for a podcast like this?
I do remember reading an interview with him, I think in one of the Insiders, and he was talking about he had no Star Wars memorabilia whatsoever, except for his wife had gotten a little action figure. She had it hanging from a string in their kitchen, and that was the only Star Wars.
She must have really hated him or something. Like an effigy or something.
Yeah, I don't know if he was hanging like it was like a little noose.
It's a voodoo doll. It wasn't an action figure. It was a voodoo doll.
I'm going to poop.
Right here. And he has a butt crease actually on his
Dave's
pants.
holding Lobot.
And I want to know whoever played with Lobot anyway.
Mine was always behind Lando.
He was one of the guys that you'd have get killed in a battle.
Yeah, I was gonna say if it's one I had to take, if I wanted to do something outside and I thought there was a chance of damaging my figures, Lobot would be one of the first ones I grabbed.
He was like the yeomans that would beam down to the planet in Star Trek.
Yeah.
You know, he was done for.
What's everyone's
As a
favorite?
kid, I never had the Lobot figure.
Of the Lobot character in the Empire Strikes Back movie.
Favorite scene?
What?
Yes.
There's not many to choose.
I was gonna say the first one or the second one.
There's the scene where he points. I love that scene.
Oh, that is awesome. Where he just turns around, points, and turns back around.
Yeah, everybody. Yeah, that's like his big like star moment. He points.
It's almost like that's when Lando's playing the joke on Han. It's almost like before they went out on the platform. He's like, "Watch this! I'm gonna fuck with this guy." Come on, Lobot. And they went out there, and then like he was in on the joke, and he just points and said, "You can go back now." Yeah, that's about it.
No, I think my favorite scene is when Lando is like talking to Vader. You know, this was in the plans, and Vader walks away, and then Lando looks at Lobot. What's Lobot do? He side glances him.
Seems like that's the only way that he can.
This is funny. I actually have a third choice.
Yeah.
My favorite one is where Lando's walking under Imperial escort, and he touches some the thing on his wrist, and you see Lobot. It like wakes up. I thought that was so cool. It's like, oh, he's like wired into Lando's Timex.
No, what's weird? I thought two things. One, he was like the computer just waiting to get programmed, or he was getting a Hummer.
He's one like, of the two. And he opened his eyes and said, "Is that teeth?"
Did you just say Ognat?
Ognat.
Yeah.
Oh.
just out of frame. Just a little south.
Well, Lando has that Casio watch on.
Yeah,
that's that calculator watch.
Yeah,
and he does open it. That seems to be the only way that he can communicate through his eyes.
Yes, but there is. I think you saw, Dave, the last moment when Lobot is seen, he says the word "move."
He does talk.
Yeah,
what?
But I think they I think they cut out the voice.
Mm-hmm.
I was reading that there is something like that, and they say that they actually him a voice in the French version of Star Wars. When they put it on DVD a few years back, they actually have him. I don't know what the French word for move is, but in that it's like move.
Oh!
Le move.
Mon Dieu.
So in France, Lobot has a voice. So he's the quotable Lobot in France.
Yeah. Well, Jeremy Bullock, in addition to playing Boba Fett, plays that one
guard, whatever.
Imperial officer.
Right, yeah.
And they capture him, and Lando says, "Well done."
Yeah.
And Lobot smiles.
He smiles and says, "See you tonight."
He's got a smile. He's got a smirk on his face, and then he does mouth something.
Yeah, he says, "Move."
And they took it out. So it's not just the eyes. I mean, he has emotions.
Yeah.
But wouldn't someone who had a lobotomy not have emotions? You saw One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest, didn't you?
Not the whole thing, no.
Well, I think according to the EU backstory is he was a full like lobotomized cyborg for a period of like 15 years, and then after that he just stayed on as a chief administrator. So I think they gave him back his free will. So he was no longer just a robot at that point. He actually had the ability to think.
Okay.
But he could be you could communicate through your little Casio wristwatch to him if you need to.
There was one scene which I was kind of questioning. Remember when I think Lando's walking down the stairs with either Han or Chewie on one side, and a Lobot walks past him on the left? I don't know why
Is that
he
when
wasn't
they're going to dinner?
Yeah, I don't know why Lobot wasn't with them. He walked by, and there was no wave, there was no high five.
He went to get the. Remember, because he ran in with all the stormtroopers.
Yeah, he's setting up Plan
as soon
B
as
in case things
as soon
go
as
wrong.
Lando was like, "I screwed you," and then all these stormtroopers came in, and then
When
there's
did
Lobot
Lando
going,
become French? Excuse you.
Yeah, he goes to get the stormtroopers to bring him in.
Yeah, he goes and gets,
yeah, that too.
TK-482 and TK-12.
Oh my God.
Tim, are you single?
None of that.
Yes, I am, ladies.
That's the question of the night.
Tim, you'll know the answer to this. What are they mining on Cloud City? I've seen Empire Strikes Back 4,000 times.
500 times.
What are they doing there? What are they mining?
I think it's some sort of gas mining.
Thanks, Tim. We couldn't guess that ourselves. Thanks for being so specific.
Yeah, I'm sure like some just like Star Wars dork is listening to me, and they're like, "Oh, they were mining such and such gas." I don't know what exactly they're mining. But I believe it was some kind of gas.
It was gas.
Pot and calling a kettle black.
It was something airish.
Yeah.
So he's still connected to the computer because, and I have the same research you have, Tim, and it says Lobot is the one that informs R2-D2 that the Millennium Falcon's hyperdrive has been turned off when R2 sticks his little...
Oh, that's cool.
Go ahead.
Yeah, well, I'm not going to be as crass as you.
Little tool. I wasn't saying that.
Oh, okay. When he sticks it in the little hole,
Yeah.
and he finds out that the hyperdrive is disconnected, according to the research, you're supposed to believe that Lobot was telling him that information.
They communicate.
I like that, actually.
It'd be cool.
really do.
I'd have to go back and check the novelization, see if it actually says anything. Because I don't know where they got that information, unless it was in one of those EU books, like the Tales from Bespin or whatever.
Right. All right. Well, what's your third fact?
Interestingly enough,
they
a
mine
scene
gas in Cloud City.
Cloud City's up in the clouds. It's a city.
Clouds. No, there was a scene that was actually filmed of a mortally wounded Lobot being carried off by some men in white, which was supposed to be his death scene, but Irvin Kershner or George Lucas decided not to use that scene because they thought that they might be able to bring him back in Return of the Jedi, which they did not.
So you think this is something that might be on the Blu-ray?
Cannot wait.
Probably. I have a feeling that when they put out this Blu-ray later on this year, it's going to be exhaustive. There's going to be nothing left that we'll be wondering about that if it was shot or not. I think
Right.
I think that scene will show up on there at least in some rough form.
Hey, I'm gonna show up Tim here and let you know, Dave, that Cloud City mined tabana, which is a rare form of matter found in both gas and liquid form. In its natural state as a gas, tabana is comprised the atmospheres of several planets, most notably Bespin.
That's what Chris and I were thinking.
Duh.
Tim.
It's used for heating fuel on many planets, though it has been refined to a solid state matter in its liquid state to be useful.
Interesting.
Tim's like,
Interesting.
writing all this down.
Word for word. Can you spell that?
I'm going to use this at the bars.
IBANNA.
Speed dating. I'll use this information.
Yeah, that'll work out. I'd be more interested to see the scenes that they were going to bring him back in Return of the Jedi rather than this death scene.
What was he going to do?
Yeah, Lando has nothing. I mean,
Skiff-guard land.
Yeah, well, there's the scenes that were added in the reissues of the people celebrating on every planet.
Yeah,
maybe he's one of those guys.
Oh God, yeah.
Break dancing or something
with a full head of hair.
Again, according to the EU, afterwards he basically becomes the Lando of Cloud. He becomes chief administrator of that facility.
Stash.
Yeah, so he becomes the big boss man. He becomes the man.
Afro.
Okay.
Beady.
Those are some great facts, Tim, you found about Lobot.
Yes, Tim. Now, everything they never wanted to know about Lobot.
Are we ready for our trivia?
Well, we're ready for our website.
Oh.
Yeah, this is actually kind of disappointing that Lobot didn't have better websites, but I did pick a pretty good page that was around mid-year last year. Probably most hardcore Star Wars fans already saw this, but if you didn't, go to geeksofdoom.com and search for Lobot, and you will find the iLobot entry. It's a day in the life of Lobot. It's almost like a journalized entry of a typical day for Lobot in Cloud City. Takes about a minute to read, gives you a chuckle, and then you can move on with life.
It is very funny. I happened upon it too. Because it's like 7:45. Remove the hookers from Lando's apartment. 7:50. Brush Lando's stash. It's all stuff like that. Real tongue in cheek. So there's some funny guys over there, I guess.
Yep.
Check it out.
All right, now we're ready for trivia.
Let's do this.
All right,
trivia.
As a running tally every week, and those of you listening can play along. So we're going to read straight up questions only about Star Wars characters. And we're going to keep score. And at some point, we're going to end this, and the winner must get something.
Get to date with Tim.
Okay. Yay!
Everyone wins in that one.
Tim.
All right, Chris, you're going to go first.
All righty.
I'm going to read this straight up to you. Now, if you get this wrong, both Matt or Tim can hop in and steal this one from you. Okay? So, here's your question.
There we go.
Who dismissed the Force as, quote, simple tricks and nonsense, end quote? I've never seen you so serious in my entire life.
Because this is the world listening.
No one's listening. Who are you kidding?
I would going to guess here because it doesn't sound like something a Jedi would say. I would say Han Solo.
That is correct. Congratulations. Chris, you started out the podcast.
I get a point. Tim has nothing.
No.
All right. Matt, are you ready?
Yeah, sure.
Now, I'd also like to point out that these are all straight out of the Star Wars trilogy because Tim is a bit of an expert on the prequels, whereas Matt and I would suffer horribly, and I think Chris would. But to include the prequels in this wouldn't even be a fair contest. So these are only trilogy. So, Matt, here's your question.
All right.
Who ordered the rebels on Hoth to prepare for a ground assault?
Oh, I don't know. Cliff Clavin.
Correct.
I have no idea.
From Sam Malone.
Tim, can you steal this one?
Prepare for a ground assault. General Riken.
That's correct.
Oh my God.
Tim.
This game sucks.
Google it.
No cheating.
Played by the deceased Bruce Boa.
Oh, you don't need to add information, okay?
All right.
There's no bonus points.
Party pants.
Mm-hmm. All right, now Chris is going to read me my question. So far, Matt's in the hole already, and I think I'm going to join him. Go ahead.
All right. Who recklessly chased a squad of stormtroopers down a dead-end hallway?
Han Solo.
Ooh, yes.
Let's check the score.
This game's stupid.
Who is the loser? Who are the winners?
Well, considering I didn't get the question right, I actually consider myself less of a loser than you three.
Listen to that. That's good.
Wait. Do I get a question?
You got a question.
Or
how many questions?
So I just took Matt's. I don't know.
Yes.
I didn't know if that was just like a bonus point.
Oh yeah, he's got a point.
You're such an overachiever.
One question per person.
So the score is 1-1 to 1 to.
Mm-hmm. The contest ends. We all win.
So, when did Chris turn into a Southern black woman? Mm-hmm.
Della Reese.
Uh-huh.
All right.
All right. Well, thank you for listening to our Star Wars in Character about Lobot discussion. Join us next time. We will discuss the character from Star Wars Episode 1, The Phantom Menace, and Episode 2, Attack of the Clones, Watto.
Thanks for listening to Star Wars in Character. Star Wars in Character is part of the neozaz.com network of podcasts. For more great podcasts and original entertainment, please visit www.neozaz.com. Star Wars in Character is not affiliated with nor endorsed by Lucasfilm Limited or 20th Century Fox. Star Wars and all Star Wars universe characters, places, or Star Wars-related items are the copyright of Lucasfilm Limited or their respective trademark and copyright holders. Visit www.swic.neozaz.com for the latest Star Wars in Character episodes and information.
Dave has brought his Lobot vintage figure. It's sitting with us on the table.
It is. It's sitting right here staring at us.
I have a Lobot character marble that came out last year.
Oh, yeah. Matt has his head shaved for the whole thing.
I have headphones on. That's about as close as I'm going to get.